Okay guys, welcome back. It's time for game number 3 between Straylock and Damaga in the HD World Tournament Grand Finals. Of course, remember $1,000 going out to the first place winner and only $500 being paid out to second place, which means these two players are going to be battling for quite a bit of money. Both players, of course, good sports themselves, and they are actually really good friends, I believe, in real life. Both of them, of course, coming from Ukraine. Wishing each other good luck, have fun, and enjoy your potatoes tonight. Straylock is going to be spawning at the 11 o'clock position on Icy Cup Test Bug, and Damaga will be spawning at the 2:30, 3 o'clock position. And this is a nice one. I love this map, actually. It's very interesting. Of course, it is a 3-player spawn map rather than a 2 or a 4-player spawn map, which already makes things a little bit kind of interesting to spice things up in the beginning. And of course, the tile sets are a little different. We have a jungle at the top left, kind of twilight at the bottom, at the right, and at the bottom left, kind of the space platform. But even more interesting to note, which actually has more factors in the game, is the fact that there is a rich gold expansion at the center. In fact, there are 3 of them, both with rich Vespine geysers, and in fact, there are 2 of them. So essentially, you grab one of these, and you are raking in the gas. You'll have enough gas to solve America's gas problems. So whoever is able to grab one of those really takes a huge lead in this game, but those expansions are very vulnerable and very wide open. Now, Straylock in this series so far is down 2 games, which means I feel like Straylock is going to have to spice things up a little bit. He's going to have to get more creative with his strategy, because Damaga has shown that ramping up Hellions and running them inside the main, it's just not going to work. Damaga is well prepared for it. Damaga has practiced against this kind of opening by Terrans before, and Straylock is going to have to try something different. He has to if he wants to win this series. He cannot allow himself to become stagnant, and he can't allow himself to try the same strategy over and over again when it just isn't working. So we'll see what happens this game around. Straylock is going to be cross-scouting and moving in with his SCV as expected. Damaga is going to be grabbing that quick hatchery at the natural location, and would not be surprised to see Straylock also doing the same. Yep, Straylock going to be grabbing a command center as well. He is going to be going very eco-based, as both players actually have done in the last 2 games. And we do have a Marine here giving chase to a drone. Damaga is going to try to flirt with death a little bit, obviously trying to get the drone around the Marine and maybe do some more scouting. And in fact, there is an SCV back here. Apparently, Straylock trying to do a little bit of a bunker harass, forcing Damaga to pull about 5 drones off the line so he can defend against the bunker. Straylock, is he going to throw a bunker down? The creep is out, and I don't know if he will decide to. He actually has a little option to put it right here. No, he will not, as he's just going to use the SCV to do some scouting. And in game 2, that SCV went down immediately to Zerglings. And I was saying that Straylock seems to have really had some misfortune this game. Things not in the right place. An SCV next to eggs right when the Zerglings pop out. Looks like the SCV is going to get picked off regardless. You know, Reapers going down, Zerglings being allowed to run inside the main. All of these things have compounded to Straylock losing. So I feel like if Straylock can just close off the mistakes and not allow himself to lose, you know, 10 or 15 SCVs, then he's going to have a great shot at beating Damaga. But as it stands, he's been making some careless mistakes, and give credit to where credit's due. Damaga has been exploiting. Damaga has been capitalizing whenever possible, and he's been doing a great job at that. Now, we'll see what happens this game. Both players here, let's take a look at that income tab. They're both about tied. Damaga getting a little bit ahead right there at 26 over 21. APM once again showing Damaga is the type at around 200 average, whereas Straylock is... Okay guys, welcome back. It's time for game number 3 between Straylock and Damaga in the HD World Tournament Grand Finals. Of course, remember, $1,000 going out to the first place winner and only $500 being paid out to second place, which means these two players are going to be battling for quite a bit of money. Both players, of course, good sports themselves, and they are actually really good friends, I believe, in real life. Both of them, of course, coming from Ukraine. Wishing each other good luck, have fun, and enjoy your potatoes tonight. Straylock is going to be spawning at the 11 o'clock position on Icy Cup Test Bug, and Damaga will be spawning at the 2:30, 3 o'clock position. A Lost Temple-like ledge at your natural. And it's very difficult to handle for Zerg players, so I think Banshees is going to be a great style to go into. In fact, Tech Lab is going to go right with the Starport, and immediately a Banshee coming out. Are we going to see Cloak? Yes, we're going to see Cloak. So Straylock is going to go straight into Cloak Banshees. The main is a little bit harder to hit with Banshees, but nevertheless, it's still a good strategy on this map. And Damaga doesn't really have additional queens coming out. He does have an Infestation Pit. Infestors can work against Cloaked Banshees, but he's going to need those Infestors out really quickly. And hold that thought, Straylock is going with Hellions as well. He may actually be doing some kind of a combined Hellion Banshee harass, which is very effective. But Straylock has revealed his Hellions. I feel like he should have waited. Maybe waited for the Banshee to come out and then attack. But he is going to be able to do a little bit of damage here. Runs onto the creep, pops a couple of these tumors, and he should be able to get away from those Zerglings pretty easily. Remember, as long as you stay off the creep, you are faster than Speedlings. But right now, Damaga, he just doesn't know what's coming. He doesn't know that there is Banshees in production. And in fact, the first one is already out and is coming towards the natural. And actually, Straylock's strategy here of revealing his Hellions has resulted in Damaga producing too many Zerglings and no anti-air whatsoever. Now finally building 2 Infestors as he realizes he needs something to deal with the Banshees. But he also has to deal with these Hellions outside of his natural as well, getting them all right there. So really good play by Damaga. But this Banshee is going to town, and it is killing drones, and now pops the cloak. So Damaga now has to build an Overseer, and it looks like the tables have been reversed for the first time in this series, with Straylock taking a quick advantage. Workers killed at 13 workers, all thanks to 1 lone Banshee, and it is going to get some more kills at 14. 15 kills, make it 16 kills! Yes, it's going to get 16, and then it finally goes down to the Queens and Overseers, but man, Straylock, that Banshee just paid hugely. A big investment, but returning great dividends for Straylock. And now Damaga, a little bit flustered after losing his drones, is going to go straight into his 3rd expansion at the inside 1 o'clock location. But right now, for the first time in this series, Straylock actually has a chance to make things happen and go into a Game 4 with a 1-game win. And that would be so huge. I mean, the pressure would be enormous if you were to lose this game and go into Game 4 with 3 games down and then basically in a sudden death mode. But here we are, Zerglings actually attacking this small patrol party of Marines. Marines, as long as they stay away from the Infestors, should be good. Getting a little bit split up here. Marines never want to be unballed. They always want to stay together as one little nice compact ball. But Straylock, thankfully, avoiding death, not losing too many Marines, and able to fall back. Once again, Damaga trying to hit that timing window before the shields and before all the upgrades are finished for the Marines. So nice little ploy right there. But he is certainly still trailing a little bit from that huge loss of Harvesters. It's like a gash that was cut open into his intake of minerals, and it's just been bleeding ever since. But and it looks like Straylock is going to be getting a little creative once again, and is going to try to do those Marines inside the dropship. And actually, the dropship is moving down south here, maybe looking for a 3rd expansion. But I guess he just doesn't realize Damaga did expand up to the 1 o'clock location, and he's just dropping off Marines into no man's land. I wonder what this is about. Straylock here must be really anticipating a hatchery down here, but nope, nothing down here. And Marines knock on the door, but no one answers, and they're going to have to go look for a better place to attack. Damaga, meanwhile, rebuilding what he can possibly rebuild, but he is still trailing in the army tab, as you guys can see, 95, under 120. One thing going good for him is he does have great creep spread, and he has a lot of vision across the map and good map control. But that may soon end as soon as this dropship comes in and tries to do some damage. Let's see what happens here. Marines gonna pick off a queen. Zerglings immediately skating towards the Marines, and oh, Straylock leaving the dropship behind. Doesn't want to lose that. His Marines could go down here. Oh man, the fungal growth getting thrown down to Straylock. A little bit of a hesitation there, allowing his dropship to get picked apart, and all those Marines and the dropship go down. And just like that, Damaga, I feel like he's right back in it. Just a small dropship can just make a huge difference if you're a Zerg player. And Straylock, realizing that, has decided he is going to push out here. Pretty bold. Going to go straight onto the creep. Has to be careful, though. Those Infestors, man. They will launch the fungal growth. And they have Nero Parasite already? What the heck is going on? Damaga here is on top of everything. Is going to kill off all the Marines, still has 2 tanks under his control, gets a couple of shots off on the enemy Marines, and these infestors are just puking infested Terrans, fungal growth, launching tentacles. They are seriously the scariest unit in the Zerg arsenal. And Straylock here, I don't think he realized that those infestors had that much energy and were that powerful at that point. But losing a big chunk of his army, Damaga immediately dropping now into Ultralisk Cavern, and he is getting more speedlings out, realizing he just needs to wait for his army to rebuild and then once again attack this. Looks like Straylock gonna try to move up here, but 2 spine crawlers already burrowing to defend the inside 1 o'clock location. I think Straylock is actually in a bit of a bad spot here. This is not a big army. He really doesn't have much, just a couple tanks and Marines, whereas Damaga, I feel like he has a much bigger army, 30 more lings on the way. Uh-oh, infestors getting a little bit ahead of themselves, and that was not good, losing one of those infestors. They are so gas expensive. But Straylock is still pushing. He is really not no fear at all in his eyes. He is on the creep. He is pushing in. The Zerg here decides to go for a surround, launching the fungal growth, and all these Zerglings running in here. Is it going to be enough, though? Straylock losing a couple of his tanks, losing all of his tanks except for 1, but the Marines stay alive. And strangely enough, I didn't really see that much fungal growth getting launched down there. And look at all the blood just from the Marines and all the Zerg units coalescing. That would be the word to describe all the blood just draining into the creep below. But dang, Damaga here is in a bit of trouble. Straylock unexpectedly pushing and has actually come out ahead, but hold that thought. 9 Ultralisks on the way, and I think this push, I think we're about to see it say goodnight, sweet dreams. As soon as those 9 Ultras pop out, this entire tank and Marine army is just going to be devastated. Damaga here actually waiting for 6 more Ultralisks, in fact. I don't know where the other 3 are. There they are. And Damaga actually may end up losing his hatchery if he does not act fast enough, and that would be a pretty big blow. He needs to attack now. He needs to defend this hatchery. And there comes the 3 Ultralisks, no doubt waiting for the Ultralisks in the back, and now he's going to go for the pincer against the Marines. Is it enough to deal with this many Marines? No fungal support means these Marines are actually pretty darn good against the Ultras, but Ultras at 3 armor are just so hard to deal with. Damaga only has 2 Ultras left. And it looks like Straylock is going to be able to hold on. Miraculously, Straylock's push is continuing. It's like a knife that is getting pushed ever more deeper into the side of Damaga, and Damaga cannot be happy about this. And this time the hatchery is going to go down. Too late for the saving units to come in, but it looks like this entire army may get picked off. No, dropship evacuation! And only 1 tank goes down as a result, and 2 tanks and a couple of Marines get out of there. So nice attack by Straylock, who immediately actually has had this expansion for quite some time, I would believe. So Straylock is actually looking really good here, guys. In fact, workers kill tab showing 16/2 still. So unlike the last 2 games, this time around, Damaga just hasn't been able to kill that many SCVs, although that may change right here, right now. If he can get around this planetary fortress, launch a couple good fungals, he could do some serious damage. Is he gonna go for the planetary? Yes, he is. His Zerglings are in the back doing some damage, and the planetary fortress is gonna go down. I would not be surprised to see a fungal getting launched on these SCVs. Oh my god, is there gonna be a fungal? No, Damaga decides not to fungal the SCVs, decides to fungal the main army instead. I don't know if that was the right decision, because no doubt he was going to lose in this battle regardless. So maybe killing off this big pack and clump of SCVs would have been smarter for if you have a long-term vision of this game. But Damaga choosing not to and letting an opportunity slip by, in my opinion. Now he's distance mining drones, and a lot of them, in fact, distance mining over to this inside 1, now grabbing the 12 as well. And this game really is anybody's game to take. Straylock is now down to only 2 bases, guys, and his income is suffering a little bit as a result. Not too much, really. He's looking pretty good, in fact, even though he's only on 2 bases. But no doubt he will be getting a 3rd very quickly, and probably a 4th. And of course, he does have a pretty big army here, guys, at 1 weapon, 2 armor, tanks at 0/0, but I feel like if Straylock wants to push right now, he could do some serious damage. I don't see Damaga putting up that much resistance, although he does have quite a bit of Ultras, once again rebuilt. Damaga is just an Ultralist, man. I love it. Damaga uses his Ultras so well. He loves Ultralisk in Zerg versus Terran, and it looks like he is going to be able to defend his 12 o'clock location, but man, those tanks have a beautiful position, all tucked in the little nook and cranny, and these Ultras are like confused. They don't know what to do. That dropship providing the ultimate vision, and the hatchery is going to get shelled by down below. Splat goes the hatchery. Everything gets picked off. And a bunch of Ultras even dying as a result of the fragmentation, the shells from the tanks just kind of exploding around the Ultralisks. And Strelok's big tank army looks like it may just do the job. You know, Ultralisks are good, but against that many tanks, I don't know if they can beat it. We'll see what happens. Damaga now trying to support his Ultralisk army with more Infestors. So that is smart. He needs Infestors so he can mind control the tanks and maybe launch some Fungals. But things are looking pretty dire right now. He's only on 3 bases, guys. Strelok does have a 3rd base up and running once again. So it's basically 3 base to 3 base. Damaga here gonna try to run into this location, but I don't know if that is smart. Just give it up, Damaga. You cannot beat this clumped up ball. Although Fungal Growth is doing some pretty good damage, but not enough. Fungal just doesn't do that much damage to tanks, and of course with dropships overhead, it heals all the bio. And now Damaga may be breathing his last breath as Strelok has a nice army of Marauders and tanks which deal with Ultralisk so well, and Strelok takes the game away from Damaga. GG. So great game right there. And Strelok is actually up 1 game. Guys, we're going to be moving on to game number 4, and it is going to be 1-2. Strelok is now putting up a fight. He has raised his fist, and he said, you know, I'm not getting 4-0'd out of this tournament. I am going to go for the gold. I'm going to get that $1,000. So stay tuned, guys. Game 4 is coming up next.